I want to welcome you in. I'm a state certified instructor. I teach teens and adults. The thing I want you to remember, this will help you. I am a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. So I want to go ahead and get you going here. You want to make sure your instructor does not have to intervene. Meaning, if you cut the wheel too short and I have to turn the wheel, that's going to be grounds for failure. You've seen a lot of videos on the internet where an instructor is grabbing the wheel. It's to keep you safe. Don't take it personal. I am trying to help you and I want you to succeed. Next, I need you to obey stop signs. Stop means stop. S-T-O-P. You want to stop for 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, and 1003. Good stops are seamless. You're rolling. You stop for 3 seconds. The chassis will roll back. Then it will stop moving. If you're driving a manual, you want to put it in neutral and allow the car to rest. Then you put your foot back onto the clutch, you put it in gear, you look left, you look right, then you slowly let the clutch out, giving it gas. I want to talk about changing maneuvers. Maneuverability is really important. You have to know how to turn that wheel to the right or turn that wheel to the left. Steering and maneuverability are very important. You can look at school bus drivers, delivery drivers. They are putting that transmission in reverse. They are putting on their flashers, and then they turn the wheel to the right. If you turn your wheel to the right, when you back up, the rear will go to the right, the front will swing out to the left. You need to know your lefts and rights. As you're learning how to drive, you tend to forget. Next, you never want to strike an object. Striking an object is automatic failure. This could be a curb, this could be a sign. Heaven forbid it would be a person, then they would be a criminal charge. So you want to make sure that you are defensive minded, watching out for pedestrians, watching for lights that could change, watching for cars that could be tailgating you. Next, there are pre-driving checks. You need to check to make sure there's nothing underneath the carriage of your car. Need to look around to make sure they're not children as you're backing up. You need to look around in the area to make sure the road is suitable for how big or small your vehicle is. These things are important and they're often forgotten. Next, you want to have smooth stopping. You never want to hit the brake really hard. If you hit the brake hard, you're going to lose control of your car. And then you will get marked down. And if it's serious enough, it could be an automatic failure. Next, you want to have really smooth acceleration. You want to use the ball of your foot and gradually push the gas pedal so it's a gradual acceleration. We're not racing anyone. We're learning to drive. We're learning smooth acceleration. We're learning smooth deceleration. You want to be consistent. I'm an instructor. I'm looking for consistency. Your road tester, they are looking for consistency. Consistency will get you to pass. Next, identify targets. If they're asking you to make a right turn, turn on your blinker 100 feet, 100, before your intended turn. This allows several things. If we're following you and I'm a car or truck behind you, I see your blinker on, I'm going to squeeze my brakes, let off my gas, increase my following distance so I don't hit you. If you turn on your blinker too late, I could run into you, and if I'm your tester, I'm going to mark you down as a dangerous condition. I don't want you to be dangerous. I want you to be consistent. Next, let's talk about emergency braking. Whenever there is a vehicle that is coming, an emergency vehicle, I'm talking about North America, you need to pull over to the right side of the road. You have to be consistent, and if you don't, that could be automatic grounds for failure. You also are limiting someone's life because someone will need that emergency vehicle to get to the hospital. So that can be grounds for automatic failure. So you have to pull over to the right side, but also be aware. Why? Because cars and trucks are traveling, people are not paying attention, and if you pull over suddenly, they can rear end you. So you got to be defensive minded. You got to squeeze your brakes, turn on your blinker, get off the side of the road so that emergency vehicle can circumvent traffic to drive around traffic to get to the hospital. Next, turns head to identify targets. When you're learning how to drive, I need you to look left. If you're making a left turn, you come up to the intersection, you're letting cars go by. Left turns are the most dangerous. I need to tell you this. So you want to yield. You want to get 3/4 of the way into the intersection, 1/3 in. You look, you wait. When it's clear, you make your left turn into the nearest lane by the double yellow, YELLOW. You want to keep your turn short. If you turn wide, you're going to go into the right lane, thereby cutting off cars making right turns. And that is grounds for automatic failure because you're cutting across lanes. So you really got to calm down. Don't be over aggressive on your turn. You have to take your time. Next, turn your head to identify targets prior to turning. I want to tell you a story. People are riding bikes. I was riding my bike yesterday. I was going across the intersection. A car almost hit me. I flipped up and did a wheelie because my brakes locked up because the car made a left-hand turn, a left cross, and almost hit me. If I didn't hit my brakes and did that wheelie, they would have hit your man. So you got to be a defensive driver. I had my helmet on, I had my reflectors on. I was traveling about 25 miles an hour. Yes, I'm an avid bike rider, so you can't just stop when you are traveling on a bike. So when you're making that left turn, if I'm making a left turn, I have to look. Are there people walking? Are there cars? You've got to look to make sure. Your road tester wants to see you look. I'm your instructor. I want to see you look. You're making a right turn. I must see your head turn, look into the direction you want to go. If you don't look, you're going to make a wide turn, and then I have to turn the wheel and help you. I don't want to do that. I want to help you and support you. Next, able to judge stopping adequately. A lot of beginners stop late. They almost hit a car. Stop sooner. Give yourself more time. Use the ball of your foot, like this is the ball of my hand. Use the ball of your foot when you're squeezing the brake. Use the squeeze brake technique. You're going to want to push fast because you'll stop fast. And truth be told, driver's ed cars are rear-ended daily because our beginning drivers hit the brake hard, don't hit the brake hard. Next, you got to check your mirrors. I'm a big advocate. This is our center mirror. This is our side mirror. This is the other side mirror. When you get into the car, I want you to adjust your seat, right? Your seat is adjusted. Next, I want to see you put on your seatbelt. Click, click. Your seatbelt is on. Your seat is, you don't want to be too far back. You don't want to be too far forward because there's a steering wheel and there's an airbag. We're not trying to knock our teeth out or break our thumbs. So you want to have your seat adjusted properly. Now your seat is adjusted properly. You adjust that center mirror. Oh, thank you. Oh, I was the staff of the weekend, and people are just sending me gifts.
I'm booing you.
Oh.
Don't forget to look inside. I'm going to put this on your door.
You're so sweet.
Have a beautiful weekend.
Thank you. I'm so blessed. I want to share this with you. This is real, right? Ooh, this is nice. Gray is my favorite color. Yes, thank you. Oh, see, this is real, right?
I don't know if I'm good for buying stuff for dudes. I tried. Inside the cup, there's some candy for you.
Aw.
What you like, so. And the cup, the mug
Yes.
has all the constellation. It changes color when you put hot and cold in it.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Have fun.
Thank you. All right. So, do something nice for someone. That's the most important thing, right? And I'm blessed. So you see me really smiling, right? So this is why I do driver's ed, because I love helping people and I love sharing the journey with you. And when you have good people around you, I'm blessed to be here every day. So I'm your instructor. I want to help you reach your goal. And you got to put in work. I'm going to give you the formula. I'm going to set you up for success. So you want to make sure you don't oversteer. A lot of beginning drivers turn too fast. You're going to crash right into the curb and almost hit a telephone pole. I've had students do that. So if I see you turning too fast, all I'm going to do is just use my left hand and hold the steering wheel. Because if I grab it, that's going to take your womanhood away. That's going to take your manhood away. I want to support you. So you're like, oh, I'm turning the wheel too fast. And same thing making a left turn. If you overturn, we're going to go right into oncoming traffic. Don't want to do that. Do not want to turn into oncoming traffic because we'll have a head-on collision. I don't want you in the hospital. I don't want to be in the hospital. Next, use this push-pull steering. There are different ways to turn the wheel. I do interview my student. Maybe your mom does push-pull. Maybe your dad does hand over hand. Maybe some of you do underhand, you throw the wheel. It just really depends on what your instructor taught you, what you see on TV, what you see your mom or dad do, your older sister, brother, your uncle, like me. It depends on what you are comfortable with. I prefer 9 and 3. I'm tall, 6'4". I'm going sideways. I prefer 9 and 3. 10 and 2. AAA, this is an organization here in North America that recommends 7 and 5 because there's an airbag. You have to work what's comfortable for you. We're not going to go into a big discussion about how you hold the steering wheel. Just have your hands on the steering wheel, right? Keep it simple. A lot of people think too hard about steering. When your car is up to the corner, you look left, you look right, and then you make your turn. Keep your turn simple, smooth, and efficient. And if you're driving a manual, you push the clutch in, you put it in first, you look left, you look right, you let the clutch up slowly, you give it a little gas, and then you accelerate in first gear, and then you turn the wheel, and as you get going, you give it more throttle, then you shift to 2, and you're about 15 to 20 miles an hour. Every car or truck has a different transmission ratio. We're not talking about drag racing where we're power shifting without a clutch, but you need to lose your clutch or you'll grind the gears or your car will lunge and then you'll lose points, right? Vehicle control, backing up, you've got to look. You got to look. You can't just rely on your backup camera. You got to look over your shoulder. You got to back up. If I want to go left, I'm going to turn hand over hand to the left. The rear will go to the left, and I'll go to the left. Okay? If I want to go right, I put it in reverse. If you're driving a manual, you shake it. You put it to the left and down or to the right and down. You make sure it's in gear. You look. You give it a little clutch and gas, and if you turn to the right, the rear will go to the right, the front will swing out. So I practice having students back up about 50 feet. You got to know how to do that. Next, vehicle control when backing up straight. You look, you always look, and you want to look and back up. That is good practice. Let's continue. We want to properly identify curves. A lot of beginners cut the wheel too short. I believe I had a video that I put out. A truck cut really short. They blew up both back tires. They hit a fire hydrant. If you cut the wheel short, you're going to bend the rim to the car, break the axle, and obviously you've terminated your test, and then we had to get a new vehicle. Repairs are expensive. There's a backlog of orders. So we don't want to cut the wheel short, right? Next, you want to gradually increase speed in the apex of the curve. Midway through, you want to accelerate to carry your momentum. If you're driving a manual, that's third. Then more acceleration, that's fourth gear. If you're driving automatic, you just want to continue accelerating through and stay smooth and gradually. If you overturn, you're going to roll the car and then slide off the curve. I've been there in the winter time. Gradually increase your speed at the apex of the curve. Maintain proper lane positioning. A lot of beginners drift to the right, drift to the left. Keep your car centered. You want to use your mirrors. You want to look ahead like walking down the hallway in school, in college, walking down your sidewalk. If you walk to the left, you're going to walk on people's grass. If you walk to the right, you're going to walk on people's grass. So you want to have your car centered just like I'm looking. You want to use your peripheral vision. I feel like an ophthalmologist. You want to use your peripheral. But speaking of eyes, you got to have your eyes examined. So your vision is the most important thing, right? And then let's talk about merging an expressway. When you merge an expressway, you want to get on that ramp. You want to accelerate and get up to speed. Some of you will be on clover leaves. I don't know where you are in the world. Looking at some of the data, Africa, Korea, the UK. In the United States, we have something called clover leaves. It's a really tight curve. There's chevron alignment signs. It's like a little point like this, and it's yellow. So if they're on the left side, this means you're going around, the curve is going to the right. If they're on the right side, this means the curve is going to the left. So they warn you. Cloverleaf is just like a cloverleaf. There are four clovers in a cloverleaf. You've got to go slow, and at the bottom, then you want to accelerate. So that would be 35, 40, 45, 50. If you go too slow, you won't have enough momentum, and you're probably in third gear. And then at the bottom, you want to accelerate, get up to fourth gear, and you start having that torque. And then fifth gear, that's your overdrive. On an automatic, you're in drive, you're accelerating up, and then you've got to pick up 35, 45, 55. And a lot of beginners panic and they lift their foot. So you want to bring your momentum. You will get marked down if you're not able to accelerate onto an expressway. The same thing in deceleration. You have another cloverleaf. Okay, if you're going around to the left, the chevron alignment signs will be on the right, telling you there's a sharp curve going to the left. It's opposite. So you have to squeeze your brakes, downshift maybe to fourth. You don't want to downshift and pop your clutch because you're going to impact the transmission, and that's going to disturb the balance of the drive shaft, and you're going to skid. And then you could lose control on a curve. I've driven students with automatics and manuals before, so you have to be really consistent in your gear selection and your speed control, and then you want to come up and stop motionless for 1001, 1002, and 1003. 3 seconds. And after you stop for 3 seconds, you look left, you look right, and then you stop. Then you're going to merge onto the major thoroughfare. I went over a lot of information today. I hope this was helpful to you. Please leave comments of where you're from in the world. Are you in North America, Africa, Egypt, the Middle East? I really appreciate you guys, and I really enjoy this, and I really want to make you good drivers. You saw today that I was the staff of the week. I got some gifts. I am truly blessed, so I'm sharing these gifts with you because I'm blessed, and I really want all of you to know you're loved, you're appreciated. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I am a state certified driving instructor, and if you like this type of format, let me know. I'll give you more information, and I'm preparing you. Please, good luck in your test, and please give it a thumbs up if this brought you value. Bye, guys.